YouTube, Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge on Facebook.
I don't got Facebook. I got the YouTube too.
So it should be popping up. Let's see, mine's just hit.
All right.
Yeah, this is 41.
Oh, 41. Okay. Oh, wow.
Okay, there it goes. All right.
Yeah, this is 41. 41.
Yeah, just put it on mute. Scripture, I'm about to say scripture breakdown. Brotherhood class, I'm filling in for Captain Quam. Tuesday Brotherhood class, we're gonna go over some reparations. We're gonna go over wicked men. We're gonna go over a couple of things tonight. So, if you could, Shadrach, could you get the story with Herschel Walker, where he was Herschel Walker? If anybody don't know, I'm sure you know who Herschel Walker is. Yeah, he was a famous football player back in the 80s. Back in the 80s, he a Hall of Famer. He spoke at the Commission for Reparations, and he got up and said that black people don't need reparations. Slavery was 130 years ago. We don't need reparations because they having a discussion right now about reparations. So if you could find it, I'm sure it's plenty of stories, because they always, the media hype it up when it's one of our people talking against anything good happening for us. They'll put them right on camera and show the world, like this is the type of black person you should be. You should be like, Herschel Walker. He also mentioned Martin Luther King, but he mentioned Martin Luther King in the speech. They always mention Martin Luther King, what he said during that speech. They don't never mention Martin Luther King towards the end, where he's on camera saying the dream is a nightmare. The dream didn't work. It took a while for him to get it, that what he thought was integrating and it was going to be better for black people turned out to be the opposite. So, hey, can you go look? Can you check the air? Does it seem kind of warm in here, or seem a little stuffy in here?
Yeah, it's like foggy.
Oh yeah, that's the insect, bro. Said it's like foggy. Could you turn the air on, but turn it on? Don't turn it on too high, because I know it can get chilly in here. Yeah, the water. Yeah, so we're gonna go over that. Go over reparations, and what reparations means to man, and what reparation means to God. What it means to, reparations is basically monetary compensation for wrongs that's been committed against the people. And it won't be the first time people got reparations. It's a problem when black people ask for reparations. So just type. You came across one? Okay, go ahead and read.
This is the New York Post. Legendary former pro football running back Herschel Walker on Wednesday led consecutive resistance to slavery reparations during a congressional hearing. Walker, who played in the old USFL and NFL over 15 years, said reparations might require Black Americans like himself to use genetic company 23andMe to calculate their pay by percentage of ancestry.
Good night. He said we need to do Ancestry.com to figure out our percentage, because you know when it comes to that, the so-called white man is they look at how much blood you got. Like remember they had the 1 drop rule. If you got 1 drop of black blood in you, you know you black. Well now they done took it further. They said you need to go do a DNA test to see how much ancestry you got, black ancestry. The thing about DNA tests, it's not conclusive. And a lot of times they just recently had it was some twins, 2 black girls. They got DNA tests and they got different results. And they supposed to have the same genetic makeup. You know what I mean? Go ahead. Somebody at the door? The water. You wasn't saying nothing. You were just saying somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So they had 2 sisters that cracked that exposed it, because if you twins, identical twins, you should have the same makeup, but they got 2 different results, because you basically, you know, take give a sample, send it in, mail it in, and get your results. You know, they have the kits now that you can buy for about $60. You know, but that's just evil to say, oh, now they have to do a test. Let's see how black they really are, how much black they got. Because you know, a lot of times it'd be a brother as dark as you come back and say, oh, you got Norwegian, European, you know, Native Indian. You know, it'd be like 5 different things that you got of you, and we know that's not conclusive. That's not giving you a single ancestor. That's the same as like when black people try to find their roots in Africa. It'll tell you Senegal, you got a marker in Senegal, you got a marker in the Congo, and you got one in Ghana. You'll have 3. So it's not conclusive. It's not like the white man where he can say, he can do it and say, oh, my great-great-grandfather was Irish and they came over here from Europe. They can find a conclusive ancestor, but the white man is never going to give you your identity through no DNA. Now, if it comes to who the father is on Maury, a paternity test, that's more accurate than DNA, trying to find out your ancestry. Go ahead, Alex.
Yeah, you know, they had a famous, it was a female actor, or I think she was a commentator or something. She went on and looked online, and it kept saying she was from, I think it was Senegal. Kept saying she was from Senegal. Right. And the next thing you know, she's from Uganda or somewhere.
And, oh yeah, you talking about, it's a CNN special. I mean, a 60-minute special where they crack it like they have. When they told the black woman that, she was like, well, what's going on? At first she thought she was one place, and they said, we found these other markers. You might be from here. And she's like, what's going on? Because black people thinking they can get a single ancestor and be like, okay, that's who I am. That's my identity right there. Now, you know, thank you. Like, I know who I am. You know what I mean? Because the one black guy it was an old show called Grey's Anatomy. He was on there too. They said, you have markers from the Mende tribe. And he was like, yeah. Like it was a press conference where they were telling stars that had took the test, you know, this is where we found markers at. But you go, what you say?
I think she was part of that.
She was a part. Yeah, she was a part. It was a 60-minute special. They had a brother that had his own DNA facility that he did tests, and he told you it's like 0.001%. That what you're getting when you get those results represents 0.1111%. Like it really means nothing, but it gives you hope. And it's a way to make money, especially now. It's a way to make money for people to buy these kits or just to pay to get it done. You know what I mean? So go ahead.
Okay, so I'm gonna read back.
Yeah, you can start over.
Okay. So 23andMe to calculate their pay by percentage of ancestry. And he argued African Americans are also involved in the slave trade, which the U.S. abolished in 1865. The U.S.
now, that's something else evil, because the slavery was abolished in 1865, but there's records of people being enslaved up to the 1950s. It was black people in the South that didn't even know that slavery, that freedom even came. You know what I mean? Because you know, white folks is evil, especially in the South. They didn't want to let black people know. It was still black people picking cotton in the 1950s. Just put it that way. Slavery didn't end when they said that it ended. You know what I mean? It ended on paper, but it didn't end physically. Go ahead.
And it's so true because my grandmother, I think she was 116. She was still a slave, they said. And just before my mom, like a little bit before my mom passed away, we had that conversation again. And my mom told me that she was a slave. Damn. And they're from Georgia.
Damn.
So it's true.
You know, I don't know if you've seen the video I posted with that it was an elderly brother. He was picking cotton, but this is during the time of when they first came out with the camcorders. So this had to be like 50s, 60s when they had the black and white camcorders. You know what I mean? And it's two white people asking them all kind of questions. You know what I mean? But he's still picking cotton. You know what I mean? And he was like an elderly man. You know what I mean? So it went on further than how the white man's history tell us it did. All you got to do is just research. You'll find out that slavery didn't end in 1865, right? You said.
And just the final thing about that movie, 12 Years a Slave. When he got kidnapped, the man was free.
Right, he was already
kidnapped
and got kidnapped and put back into slavery.
Back into slavery.
Right.
So they would slip on doing that and sending them northeast.
Sending them up north, yeah. Okay.
Right, instead of down south.
See? So go ahead and keep going.
Okay. Walker, who campaigned for former President Donald Trump last year,
can you get Jeremiah 30?
Said that he opposes reparations for both practical and moral reasons. We use black power to create white guilt. My approach is biblical.
He said we use black power to create white guilt. No, what white people did to black people created white guilt. Slavery created white guilt. You get what I'm saying? Lynching and Jim Crow created white guilt. Not black men saying they want to rule and be in power. Are people screaming black power? Are people screaming Black Lives Matter? That don't create white guilt. The crimes of white people's forefathers is what create that guilt. Keep going. Now this is a brother talking. Salaki. This is a brother talking. That's what I said. They set up the ones that think just like them to put them in camera and publicize them for us to look like that's what we should be like. We should follow a Negro like that. A simple Negro like, what's the other one? Ben Simmons that was with Trump. A simple Negro. He's a Trump supporter too. Herschel Walker, he's a Trump supporter. You know what I mean? And his son is you see his son is a full-blown homosexual. His son is a cheerleader for a university. You know what I mean? He definitely didn't follow in his father's footsteps. You know what I mean? And you can tell his son is mixed. So Herschel Walker, his son's mother is definitely a white woman. You know what I mean? So his whole mindset is to love his oppressor. You know what I mean? So he's saying we shouldn't get it. We shouldn't get reparations, but somebody brought that out. I can't remember who brought that out. It'll be like him playing all those years of football, running and tearing up his body. And then at the end, they're saying, we don't owe you nothing for all your work and your service. Right? You was going to say something, brother?
No, I already figured it out.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to figure out who.
Go ahead.
Okay. My approach is biblical. How can I ask my Heavenly Father to forgive me if I can't forgive my brother?
He said, how can I? And see, that's the problem. Christianity teach that everybody is your brother. The white man ain't your damn brother. That's not biblical. An Israelite is your brother. That's who your brother is. He said, my approach is biblical, right? So when he said my approach is biblical, then he said, how can I, what did he say? Hate my brother? We already know he's not talking about just black people. We know he's talking about everybody. So he's talking about Christianity. That's what Christianity says, to love everybody. But if Christianity was about loving everybody, why is it all black churches? Why is it all black churches, all white churches? You know what I mean? When it comes to Christianity, where's the diversity? Like they try to do in the companies, mix, say, oh yeah, we hire some blacks, we hire some Hispanics. You know what I mean? They at least attempted, but you got whole black churches all white churches. I mean, I ain't gonna say you don't got some that's mixed, but for the most part, most black people grew up in a church that was all black people. He's probably black and brown, all black. And most black people, they step foot in a white church, they feel weird. They feel like, man, I ain't supposed to be here. Even the songs don't move you because they can't sing. You know what I mean? I don't know what the hell they be doing there. I don't know how they get by in the white church. I understand our church because we got a little bit of talent and flavor. You know what I mean? But for the most part, if it was all about loving everybody, why is all the races separate, even in serving God? Go ahead, Doc.
I can't forgive my brother. The former Dallas Cowboys star told the House Judiciary Committee, it's like a committee subcommittee.
It's a little more. It's something else he said.
America is the greatest country in the world for me. A melting pot of a lot of great races.
A melting pot. But guess what? America, that's what white people tell you. When we on the corner, they say, you know, you should be happy you in America. You in the greatest country. You should when Kyrie Irving, the basketball player, said like during the George Floyd thing, he didn't want to play, you know, white people are angry. Like you need to, you know, shut up and dribble. You should be happy that you're able to earn millions of dollars shooting a basketball. Like we can't even be upset about what we see happen to our people without them saying, you should be happy you in America. It's the greatest place on earth. Just like what he's saying. He's basically a damn robot. He's programmed to think, walk, talk, just like the so-called white men that hate black and Hispanics. You can keep going. Go ahead.
Yeah, so you know, piggybacking what you said, there's a movie called Hula, and there was a gangster. He's a famous gangster, Dutch Schultz. I believe that was a real character, and he told one of his black mob men after he ate on the sandwich and had a pickle and all that stuff. He said, "Here, take the scraps." And he's like, "No, there's no need, Dutch. No, take the scraps. Take them." He made them take the scraps.
Right.
Off of his table.
Off of his table,
you know,
right? The crumbs from his table, right?
Right. Half a sandwich bitten up.
I think I remember that scene. Keep going.
Okay. A melting pot of a lot of great races, a lot of great minds that have come together with different ideas to make America the greatest country on earth. Many have died trying to get into America. No one is dying trying to get out.
Damn. That's so evil. He said many have died trying to get in. So he's not talking about he's talking about immigrants, like, you know, like like who's died to get in here other than the so-called Israelites? What other immigrants have died trying to get to America? Haitians, Israelites, basically just Israelites. I know Hispanic brothers and sisters, they find them dead all the time in the desert between, you know, Mexico and Texas and all that. They done, you know, they ain't have no water or something and they, you know, pass out or whatever.
So like what's their Cubans.
So it's really all Israelites that's dying to get over here. But black people was brought over here against their will. You know what I mean? And that hints to why don't you, if you don't like it here, why don't you go back to where you came from? If you don't like it so much, why are you still here? You know what I mean? You're not dying to get out of here. So what you complaining about? That's what he's really saying, right? Keep reading.
Reparations, where does money come from? Does it come from all the other races except the black taxpayers? Who is black? What percentage of black must you be to be able to receive reparations?
Now this is hard. Like if you didn't know who we were talking about, you would have thought that this is a white man talking. You would have thought this was some racist Republican white man speaking on like how do we determine who gets it? How much do they get? How much percentage of black do they have in them? Who's going to pay for it? It's going to come out of the black taxpayers' money? You know what I mean? That's what you would think. You know what I mean? But he's a what you call it, a tool for the so-called white man. Keep reading.
Do you go to the 23andMe or DNA test to determine the percentage of blackness? Some American
and if you look at him, you know he's not even that articulate to write this. Some white man wrote this for him. Because you know he all, you know, messed. You know how after getting so many blows to the head and all that, he all messed up. You know what I mean? So you know some white analyst, somebody wrote that speech. Go ahead,
Some American ancestors just came to this country 80 years ago. Their ancestors wasn't even here during slavery. Some black immigrants weren't here during slavery.
I want to get to the part. Get to the part where he said his religion is about togetherness. It's a part in there where he says his religion is about togetherness or something like that, like bringing people together. You see it in there? You could have skipped it. It's like the main thing I wanted to get to. I didn't even ask anybody did they have any questions before class. Anybody had any other questions? What about you, Nathazai?
I'm good, sir.
You good? I'm sorry, brother. I didn't get your name.
James.
James. All right, brother. Young man, James. Hey, James, you ain't got no questions or nothing? Anything you've been thinking about?
Nah, you did the thing. He locked me in. I'm just making sure it worked.
Okay.
So if I don't make class, I can just.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. You can always just go online.
Yeah. I ain't familiar with all this. So.
Yeah, I feel you. I already understand, man. Yeah. Nathazai, give me what you got. Jeremiah 30 and 13.
Come.
We're gonna when you get it, let me know. Try to write it when you see it.
Come.
He said, my religion teaches togetherness. Reparations teaches separation or something like that. Go ahead.
Come. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, verse 13. There is none to plead thy cause, that thou mayest be bound up. Thou hast no healing medicines.
So this is talking about, we're talking about reparations, and we're talking about Black and Hispanic people. Well, we're particularly Black when they say reparations. But when it comes to God, all 12 tribes are going to get reparations from, because of what they're going to get vengeance. The Lord is going to execute vengeance for what has been done to them. So we're talking about reparations. And the main part of reparations is that we were in slavery. We came over here on slave ships. And slavery was a horrible thing. It was horrible to see your brothers get beat every day, to see them get lynched, to see your women get snatched and ravaged and raped, and you didn't have no power. It was a sore wound on Black people as a whole. And in what the Lord is saying, listen, there's no healing medicines. There's nothing, even today, everybody looks at Black people like, what's wrong with them? Why are they doing this? Why they do that? And what they don't realize is that slavery was a horrible trauma. It was 400 years of continual trauma. And just to put it in perspective, 9/11 was a day of trauma. And there's some people that wasn't even born on 9/11, and they still feel they're affected by what happened that day. Because what happened that day, that trauma was passed down. So imagine what happened for continually for 400 years. That trauma was passed down. And that pain, that feeling, that Black people get when they even around white people. You know what I mean? It's almost like you gotta unnerve yourself, and you gotta act like you're not feeling what you feeling around white people, because you feel naturally uncomfortable around them. You know what I mean? I know even children, they don't even know yet, what a police officer is, and when a white cop come around, they feel uncomfortable, and the white cop got to do all kind of extra stuff to gain their trust and talk to them all soft and be nice. But there's something deep down inside of us that it's been passed on, of this trauma of this horrible act of slavery. And so what we're going through is the reasons why, and the fact that the pain and the dysfunction that we have is incurable. There's only one cure for it, and it's knowing who you are. It's knowing your identity. It's only one cure. We try to cure ourselves with what the white man offers in this society, but it can't fix us as a whole. You know what I mean? So keep going. You found it?
Come.
All right. Let's drop. Let him finish this. Let's Shadrach finish this, not Zach, and then we'll go back to the scripture.
Okay.
Go ahead.
CNSnews.com. Former football running back Herschel Walker told a judiciary subcommittee on Wednesday he opposes reparations for slavery on a number of grounds, including his religion. My approach is biblical, Walker said in his opening statement. How can I ask my Heavenly Father to forgive me if I can't forgive my brother? I never want to put anyone's religion down, but my religion teaches togetherness.
His religion teaches what?
Togetherness.
Oh, so the same togetherness that had white people hanging black people from trees. Because those was Christians. His religion teaches togetherness. Everybody Tawab, is it getting too cold for you, sis? Or? Yeah, could you? Yeah, because I can, I can feel it's getting a little chill down in here. Yeah, so he said my religion teaches togetherness. So that's that's the togetherness that have white people at the bottom of trees and black people hanging from them. That's the the togetherness that had, the founding fathers. What is it? Jefferson, George Washington, they all had slaves. They was all Christians. His religion, Christianity. So you telling me that's what it teaches? And like I said earlier, I brought it out earlier, if it's about togetherness, why in the hell is it black churches and white churches separate? Why everybody ain't just mixed up? The only place where you really see that at is like real prestigious churches, where it's a nice building and all that. You actually see black and white mixed, the mega churches, and even if it's not a mega church, but a real prestigious church, real, everything, the ushers is dressed nice, and they got the gold baskets, and real prestigious. It'll draw in everybody. You know what I mean? And Christianity is a business. So at the end of the day, a smart pastor will try to get black, Hispanic, and white people in there for them tithes, because it's a business. You know what I mean? It ain't the business of knowing God, of serving God. It's the business of serving yourself, right? Is that it on it? No, here's some more.
Reparation teaches separation.
So he's saying reparation teaches separation. Why do you think he's saying reparation teaches separation? Anybody? Why do you think he's saying that? Go ahead, Nathan.
Because he's trying to gather everybody together. If he's saying reparation separates from, he's pretty much saying that if we get reparations, it's excluding everybody else. Like we're making ourselves like special other than everybody else. Just
like a so-called white man. But this is my question. Did reparations make the so-called fake Jews special? Because America gives them for the Holocaust, what is it, like 10 billion a year?
Right.
I don't know the number, but it's in the billions. They give them money. In America, ain't even the ones that committed the Holocaust. The Nazis committed the Holocaust. They send the Israelis money every year, and don't nobody complain about, oh, that's causing separation.
Right.
You know what I mean? They how do we know they're 100% Jew? Are they going to do a DNA test? No, nobody says that. Nobody said that when they gave the money to who? The Japanese? For being here in internment camps. They was here after Pearl Harbor. They was here in internment camps. Then now after that they got compensated for their pain and suffering. Nobody said, oh, that's going to cause separation, because you making them special. You know what I mean? It's only when the question comes up for us. Now it's all of this BS about separating and being a problem, or trying to figure out how much black blood do we got in us, man. So what was you gonna say, Shadrach?
Yeah, that was Hiroshima and Nagasaki, those victims there.
So they got paid for Hiroshima and Nagasaki?
Okay.
To my understanding, didn't they have camps here where the people that were American, like the citizens here, when they had the war, they locked the people that was Japanese here, locked them up?
It was World War II. During World War II, they thought the Japanese were like communists, for their country. So they
like they were spies, like they was living here as spies. So yeah, but they got compensation. We didn't. We can't seem to get compensation. Go ahead.
And also under that Obama, the so-called black president, the Jews got 12 million from Germany, and they got $90 billion.
$90 billion.
And so the Japanese heirs got 1.25 billion, and there was for the 3-year Holocaust, it was $1.65 billion.
Good night. Damn. Damn. Now you telling me? Now we gotta figure out our ethnicity in order to get some money. Now this coming from a black man. And another thing, what you gotta understand is like he's separated from his people. A lot of black people get money, they get they get notoriety, and it separates you. You know what I mean? You know how we always be like, I'm trying to move up, trying to get out the hood. Well, the problem with getting out the hood, sometimes you lose, you forget who you are. You lose your identity. You forget where you came from. That's what they say. You forgot where you came from. You know what I'm saying? And he's one of those black people that got money and they just totally forgot what they came from. Got him a white woman, had kids, went on about his life, and became a Republican and forgot about the struggle. I'm pretty sure he grew up in the South, grew up somewhere. Find out where that brother grew up at. I'm pretty sure he grew up somewhere in the hood. You know what I mean? Somewhere where it was nothing but struggle and all he seen was black people. And he said, I'm getting the hell out of this. The problem is nothing wrong with bettering yourself. The problem is when you start hating your people. That's the problem. And he hates black people. You know why he hates black people? Because the person he follows, the so-called white man, hates black people and hates poor people, right? And he never wants to admit his faults. He don't want to admit. Reparation is like, not only that what they're talking about is reparations, but it's also a former apology. The white man don't want to apologize. He don't want to look at himself in the mirror and say, damn, I'm an evil, wicked bastard for what I did to these people. He don't want to feel that type of pressure of shame. He does not want to feel that shame. Like we're talking about, if this would happen to any other people in the earth, this would be called a crime against humanity. They call it what? War crimes, crimes against humanity. And they go and try to get that person, that dictator, that whoever. Well, white people have never came before a judge, never came before a jury. Like, you know, brother, like I know, you do a crime, you get caught. Okay, you get caught. You in front of the judge. The judge, the prosecutor is right there. Prosecutor, bring out your crime, or district attorney, bring out your crimes. It's not a district attorney, public defender, bring out your crimes, right? And you like, damn, yeah, okay, I did that. You trying to figure your way up out of it, but you know you did it, you ain't got no power. The judge hit the gavel and give you a sentence, and you got to go do your time. That ain't never happened to the so-called white man. He ain't never came before a judge and jury and they bang that gavel and give him his damn time. You know what I mean? The only person that's going to give him his time is the Most High, man, because he's a wicked, evil bastard that doesn't want to take responsibility. Like I say, tell us to take responsibility, pull your bootstraps up. He don't want to take responsibility for the things he had done in the past. Go ahead, Doc.
And that's so true. The only one they did prosecute and tried him was an old Nazi war criminal, was like 90 years old. They wheeled him in the court and put him away.
And that's what we always say this, it's no statute of limitations on murder. Okay. And with them, what happened in the Holocaust, if you are elderly Nazi, they bring you up in there on the wheelchair with the oxygen thing on you and still prosecute you. Well, when it comes to the so-called white man in America, he has never been brought to a court of law. He has never, his crimes, and we know his rap sheet is long as hell, but he's never been brought to justice. So that's what it is. So let's get back to use. Go ahead.
So you want to know where Herschel Walker is from?
Yeah, where he from?
He was born in Augusta, Georgia, and he was raised in Wrightsville, Georgia.
Man, Georgia, like we know he probably done heard a story of somebody being hung, never being found. Somebody smiling at a white girl, never being found again. I'm sure you have heard of some stories. Go ahead.
And it's a lot. So that's where my mom is from, Augusta.
That's where you said your mom said she used to be a slave. Good night. Good night. Good night, brother. So let's get back. Not to where was on. Somebody at the door? Okay, go ahead and get that. Yeah. So this brother grew up in Georgia, man. I said he looked like a brother that probably grew up in the South, and got a football scholarship. You know what I mean? And you know, the next thing you do is when you get a scholarship. I mean, not a scholarship. You go to the NFL, you go to the league, is to get you a white woman on your arm. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's just like, I guess that's just they got a blueprint. They must hand you a paper when you get your deal. Like, get a white woman. Don't stay with the woman that struggle with you in the hood. We don't want you coming to none of these private parties with, you know, black woman on your arm. You know, I don't know what it is. What's in the water they be drinking after the games, or the Gatorade? I don't know what's in it, but they sure do hitch up and get them a white woman. You know what I mean? So let's remember where you was at? You was what was that? Jeremiah 30. Let me get there. Real quick. So was that the door?
No, that was walking.
Okay. Jeremiah 30 and what was it at? 13?
14. Sorry.
I said 14, but you started at 13, huh?
Come on.
All right.
Read again?
No, give me start at 13. 13.
Come on. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, verse 13. There is none to plead thy cause, that thou mayest be bound up. Thou hast no healing medicines.
So we're talking about that wound. We're talking about the wound from slavery. There's no healing medicines. There's nothing to bound up. When you have a wound, when you're bleeding, you bound it up. When you have a cut, you put a Band-Aid on it, you put some ointment on it. There's none of that for us, for what has happened to us here, right? Go ahead, Up.
Okay. Verse 14. All thy lovers have forgotten thee. They seek thee not. For I have wounded thee with the wound of an enemy.
The Lord said that he did what happened to us, he did it. And he wounded us with the wound of an enemy. What happened to us was something that you do to your enemies, right? They say that we Africans, but you don't put your people on slave ships. You don't sell your people to so-called white men on slave ships, right? You sell your enemies. You sell somebody that's not your people. You know what I mean? But the Lord, as we know, he's always used different nations to do his bidding, to chastise us, to take us into. He used the Babylonians against us. He used the Persians. He used the Greeks. He used the Romans during Christ's time, right? And even in this day, he used the Africans and the so-called white man to be against us, for us to get like when you get a whooping, when you get chastised, you start to ponder why. It starts to bring you back a child. It'll bring a child like a butt whooping will bring a child back to reality. You know what I mean? And I'm just saying, like, even a man can, a couple of blows will bring your ass back to reality. You know what I mean? You get beside yourself, but some blows, like there's a scripture that tell you strikes, you know what I'm saying? Well, you know, it'll like basically set you straight. You know what I mean? In the same way, the chastisement of the Lord, you know, brought Israel back into reality, like make you start to consider, like, why is this stuff happening to us? Why have we fallen so far? Why did we even have to go through slavery? You know what I'm saying? Why did that only happen to us? Are we just natural born slaves? It'll make you start to ponder questions about your race and about who you are, because obviously we done forgot who we are. You know what I mean? So keep going.
Come. With the chastisement of a cruel one.
With the chastisement of a cruel one. Keep going.
For the multitude of thine iniquity.
For what?
For the multitude of thine iniquity.
For the multitude of our sins. For being against the Lord. That's why we went into slavery. Because we were a wicked, evil people. A hard-headed people, and we still are today. We are a hard-headed. Negroes is hard-headed. Like anything that's good for black people, we hate. Anytime somebody tries to correct us, we don't want to be corrected, right? It has to go to the point where we lose our life because of how hard-headed. The Bible says stiff-necked we are. How stiff-necked we are. We don't want to hear instruction. And like I said, when I said on the street, I can't blame black people, because all America teaches us is to do what we want to do. Do what you want to do. You grown, do what you want to do. Nobody can tell you what to do. What's some of the phrases they say, like, you only live once, live your truth. You know how it is. You got one life to live. It's all them sayings that America pushed, and just the philosophy of, you know what I mean? Do your thing, have fun. You only live once. You know what I mean? So anytime somebody try to tell us something, you know what I mean? We are hardened against any kind of instruction, any kind of righteous advice. And that's the reason why the Christian church don't teach Black and Hispanic people anything, because one part, they don't know anything. On the second part, they fear Black people. So they know, a pastor knows that he can't say, oh, you sisters, you got to stop dressing like this when you come in here. You can't be dressing like, you got to wear, a dress. I don't need to be seeing all of that. He can't tell his parishioners, I don't want y'all smelling like cigarettes when y'all come in here. He don't want to lose that money. He don't want to lose, that, what's the word? He don't want to lose all those people in the pews. You get what I'm saying? But for the most part, we are hard-headed people. And the Lord did this thing to us because of our iniquity, our transgressions against the law. Christianity done taught us no law exists anymore. So therefore, we are sinning against the Lord and thinking we're serving the Lord on Sunday. In reality, we are angering the Lord even more, right? In Africa, in all the places we were scattered to, West Africa, we were serving other gods, meaning we had bits and pieces of who we were, but like all the time, like even now, we like to mix everything, just like our forefathers did. They wanted to mix the worship of Baal and the Molech with the worship of the God of Israel. And so we just do our own thing. But the Lord is letting us know he chastised us. He did that evil thing. He let that happen to us for our iniquity. Keep reading.
Oh God. Because thy sins were increased. Verse 15. Why criest thou for thine affliction? Thy sorrow is incurable. For the multitude of thine have done these things unto thee.
So the Lord is saying, why you cry for your affliction? Like, it's a question. He like, nigga, why you crying? I did these things because your sins was increased. Like, it's like, why are you protesting? You crying when they shoot us in the street, but you don't want to stop chasing hoes. You don't want to stop smoking weed. You don't want to stop hating your brother. You don't want to stop being an evil, wicked bastard. But you want to cry out, and plead your cause when you are afflicted. If you was righteous, I would plead the cause for you. I would fight for you. You wouldn't have to be in the street saying, I am a man. That's in the 60s. Protest saying, I am a man. You wouldn't have to be in the streets in this time saying, Black Lives Matter. What was it before that? Hands up, don't shoot. You wouldn't have to do that if you wasn't such a sinful, wicked nation. You was going to say something?
Oh, wow, sir. I thought I skipped the line.
Go ahead, Shadow, right?
Yeah, I have a precept on that for Judah.
Go ahead.
It's in Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 1. The sin of Judah is written with a pen of iron and with a point of a diamond. It is graven upon the table of their heart and upon the horns of your altars.
So we are a sinful, wicked nation, man. We're sinful. It's written. It like I say that we sin so much and we're so wicked that our wickedness it starts to become something that looks good to other people, to other nations, right? So us selling drugs we make bad things look good. That's how wicked we are. I'm talking about the tribe of Judah. We make selling dope look good. We make having gunfights look good. We make some evil, wicked things look good. And that's just because we are the salt of the earth. The Lord did make us special, but a lot of that energy we use for the wrong things, right? So that was it on that. Where we at? What we on verse 16 or 15? Okay, go ahead.
Oh God. Verse 16. Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured.
Wait a minute. So the Lord did that, but what we realize is that he uses people, Somebody get Shadrach, get Obadiah 1 and 9. Obadiah 1 and 9. So we see right here he's flipping it though. So starting from the top, verse 16.
Verse 16. Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity.
Right. So, because we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that in Obadiah about, you know, us being punished by the Lord through slavery. But after slavery was over, the white man kept, you know, destroying us, kept hurting us. And even to this day, he's still doing it. So there's a flip side to it, the Lord's punishment, but also those who glory in punishing us even more. Because we do have adversaries on the earth. And for some reason, the Christian church has taught black people that their enemy and their adversary is another black person. Like they be like your enemies and the people that are against you, like you in your personal life, right? That's how Christians think. They think that people against them in their personal life is their enemy, right? When in reality, the Bible is talking about a chief enemy. It's talking about the so-called white man, right? It's talking about a nation of people. It's very few times where you can find in the Bible that the Lord is specifying individuals. Very few times. Most of the time, the Lord is talking about, when he's talking about Israel, he's talking about a nation of people. He's not talking about one particular person or your particular beef with another black person. He's talking about a nation that is against another nation, right? When he say adversary, he's talking about two nations, right? One nation being the Israelites and another nation against them. He's not talking about all of your adversaries, you know, that brother across the street that you got into it with, that sister that you got into it with at the beauty salon. That's not what he's talking about. You know what I mean? He's talking about the man that pulls you over and you know, and shoot you before you can pull your ID. He's talking about the man that says he's a Christian and will hang you if he got wind that you even looked at a white woman. He's talking about the so-called white man, right? That's your adversary. That's your adversary today. That's the same man that you go to work with. You know, you got to be professional around. You don't have to laugh at their jokes, but you have to be. We in the Isupk, we carry ourselves professional. We know the white man is the devil, but we use professionalism, and that's how we roll, right? Shadrach, you got that? Obadiah 1 and 9.
Book of Obadiah, chapter 1 and verse 9. And thy mighty men, O demon, shall be dismayed to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter.
So the mount of Esau is the government of the so-called white man. That they will be cut off with slaughter. So keep going. Is that verse 9? Verse 10?
10.
Yeah.
Verse 10. For thy violence.
For thy what?
Violence.
For thy violence.
Against thy brother Jacob.
Against thy brother Jacob. Because at one time Esau was Jacob's brother. At this point, he's not his brother anymore. Go ahead, I.
Shame shall cover thee.
What shall cover thee?
Shame.
Shame. Shame is what the so-called white man does not want to feel, because the white man is pompous. He's proud. He's a proud nation. I'm American. And, you know, you go back to your other country if you don't want to kneel for the flag. He's a proud people. The so-called white man. He's a proud. They're very proud. Very proud. You know what I mean? They have so much pride in their country, in their flag, and their forefathers were rapists, were murderers, were pedophiles, and white people are proud of the founding fathers in being able to kill Native American Indians, enslave black people, you know, destroy Mexicans. They're proud of that. They take pride in their conquering of this land and establishing this country. They're a proud people, right? Is that it on it?
And thou shalt be cut off forever.
And thou shalt be cut off forever, right? So going back, to Jeremiah in where we at 16. Therefore all they that devour thee, shall be devoured. Also, Shadrach, can you give me Ezekiel 35 and 5? Ezekiel 35 and 5. And so go ahead and read that verse 16.
Come on. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, verse 16. Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity.
Shall go into captivity. You know what captivity is? It's slavery. That's what captivity is. The so-called white man brought us over here in captivity, right? Slavery. Now, a lot of people will say, if you're enslaved even now, why don't you just leave the country? Now, do you really think that if all black people came together and said, we're going to leave this country, that the so-called white man would be okay with that? That you will become enemy number one overnight. You will wake up and there will be tanks pointed at your at your door. Like, what does these Negroes think they doing? The white man, he has a conscience that he knows what he's done to us, and in the back of his head, he's waiting to find that sect, right? How they call us a sect, or that hate group. He's waiting to find that group of black people that are plotting to overthrow his government, because he feels in the back of his mind, he feels in his spirit that he needs to pay for what has happened to black people, but he's not going to pay. But every white person has that in the back of their head. Like, when will these black people one day rise up? When will the tables turn? When will they eventually get back for what we did to them? A lot of white people feel like that's coming. One day black people are going to rise up. And of course, the white man is on the edge, always looking, always surveying, always doing intelligence, always, trying to infiltrate any black group, anything, to figure out any plot and stop anything that's going to rise up against him, because he knows he's wrong. You know what I mean? He knows that what he's did, he has to pay for it. It's just that he won't ever be brought to justice. It's just that nobody on this earth is going to bring him to justice. There's no other government that will say, you know what, we're arresting the white man. We're bringing him to justice for crime, for what he did to black people. Only God is going to do that, right? So where we at, knock this out?
Still on verse 16, sir.
Okay, keep going.
And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey.
So you see what the Lord is about. He's about flipping the tables. You know how they say every dog has his day? Well, one day Jacob is going to have his day. One day we're going to have our day. You know what I mean? The table's going to turn. Keep going, verse 17.
Oh, God. Verse 17. For I will restore health unto thee.
For I will restore health. Restore. You know what I'm saying? What is it to restore? If we're talking about reparations, this is what real reparations is what so far. You got some? Go ahead, Shadrach. Swap.
It was restored to bring something back to its original state.
To its original state. Get that brother a hand. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like this. Like I gave this example. I'm like, okay, so you're about to move. You tell your landlord, I'm about to move in a couple of months, and he like, okay, you done messed up that grass. The grass don't look how it looked when you moved in. If you can get it back to like that, and I'll make sure I give you your deposit when you move. So you got to restore the grass from being brown back to green. You restore it to its original state, right? We see here the Lord. That's what the Lord is talking about. That's what reparation is. He gonna do what our enemies done to us to them, and then he gonna restore us, right? That's real reparations from the Lord. That's what that's the reparations we want. Like, okay, they said they did the study and said they did a figure of $14 trillion for reparations. And then they started to say like the shucking and jiving brother. He said, but how we gonna know how much black they got? How we gonna know? Do they do a DNA test? Do they go to 23andMe to figure out how much black they got? Do we give it by percentage? Does it come out of black people's black taxpayers' money or white people's money? And so they came up with all these figures, right? But it was a white man that did this about 5 years ago. He calculated the days that slaves was out there. He calculated the amount of hours from sun up to sundown, and he came up with $14 trillion. But that probably would bankrupt America, right? But it would be righteous. But the point I'm making is that, you know, we would get the money, but the money at this stage would not really fix black people. Black people be running around with a lot of things. You know, niggas that have, you know, all the Jordans and watches, and women that have all the nice bags, and we'll go and spend it all, but we'll still have all those issues for that sore, incurable wound from slavery. We'll still have all of those issues. You know what I mean? Right. The money won't be the thing that will restore us. We'll have to see justice brought to the white man. We'll have to see him be put in shame. Shame come over him, like the scriptures say. We have to see the Lord put him in his place up under our foot. That's what we'll really have to see. You know what I mean? Just like it said in the scripture, they that devour thee, we'll have to see him get devoured. We'll have to be some years where we see white men getting pulled over by black cops running because they on child support, get shot in the back. We'll have to see like the best way to put it is like a woman that has been raped, right? For her to get real healing, she has to see the man that raped her put to death. There's no other way. He has to be put to death. In order for us to actually be healed, we have to see the people that did the horrible crimes they did to our ancestors and to us today put to death. It may sound bad to the Christian mind, but it's righteous to God. Right. You get what I'm saying? It's righteous to the Lord. You know what I mean? What would you want? What, like, let's flip the tables. If it's your son, if it's your daughter, and you know who took their life, what is the only thing that will suffice? What is the only thing that will fix it for you in your mind? I mean, you may still be upset they ain't here, but you want to see that mother put to death. That's right. You know what I'm saying? You want to see him put to death, and then you can be at peace and go to the grave and say, job well done, it's done. I see you again. I took care of that, but you know what I mean? I'm at peace right now. You know what I mean? It's not like whoever did it is on the run and I don't even know nothing. So we know who did it to us, you know, and I'm not saying we do any violence. We just sit back and we wait for the vengeance of the Lord, man. That's what I pray for. I pray for the vengeance of the Lord. I pray for this place to end every day. I pray for my brothers and sisters that are so lost that they, you know, snap out of it one day, you know what I mean? And come join us, you know what I mean? I don't wish for none of my people to die, but at the same time, I want the Lord to come swiftly, man. And how we do that? We do that by staying in class, by constantly studying, you know what I mean? By staying in the spirit, you know what I mean? By praying always. That's how we do it, you know what I mean? We can't do it physically. A lot of, you know, like the black militia and all that, you know what I mean? That's not, our weapons of warfare are not carnal. We can't just go get guns and think we're going to fight the so-called white man. He makes all the damn guns and the ammunition. There's not one black man that manufactures none of those, you know, war supplies, right? So our warfare is a little different. It's spiritual. But I would rather be on the side, I would rather be in the fight with the Lord on my side than with me just thinking I can do it on my own. You know what I mean?
Right.
So where we at?
Verse 17.
We're not done with 17. Okay, keep going. Go ahead. I'll select it. My bad. Yeah, go ahead. Just hold that. Let Sawap do that.
Oh, no, what book are we in?
Oh, we in Jeremiah 30 and 17. Let the brother get there. 30 and 17. And just read it from the top. Like we were just talking, like we was going over reparations, right? Because they were discussing reparations. So I wanted to show the difference with what the white man thinks reparation is and what God thinks reparation is. Somebody give me a time check.
8:21, sir.
8:21. Okay. Wow. Start at verse 17.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, verse 17. For I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds.
Remember those wounds? Those wounds is the wounds of the trauma of slavery, of the years of oppression, the years of being murdered and killed. Do you ever wonder how many brothers and sisters before the event of a camera was killed by police and white men, and they just, you know, took them out in the field or took them somewhere and threw them in the river, and they never was found? Like we catch them now killing us when they don't know there's a camera. But imagine that time, you know, the 1920s, 40s, 50s, 60s, you know, 70s, where, you know, all of their deeds is hidden. But the Lord seen all of that, right? He's seen all of that. And he said he's going to heal us from all of those wounds, because we do come back. You know what I mean? We do come back on the earth. So everything the white man has done to our ancestors, the Lord sees that. You know what I mean? He sees that, and all the pain, all the suffering. You know, sometimes, I don't mean to go off, but sometimes when I'm doing my research on my videos, I have to step back, because I'm doing the story, I'm researching it, and then it really hits you what you're reading, and you put yourself in that time because you're a black person and you imagine it happening to you. And I feel the pain of what happened to my people, and I have to step back, and I have to just, like, because a lot of it is just, it's tear worthy. So you got to step back, and you just got to take a breath, like, God damn, white man is a damn devil, man.
That's right.
Like, you know what I mean? I have to regain my composure and my focus, because it's like, damn, you know, this is me. You know what I mean? And all of that, the Lord is going to heal us from all of that. All of that, and it's getting to it. Is keep going, Salaki. I don't want to, you know, I start talking and I go sideways. Go ahead,
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, verse 17. For I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith the Lord, because they called thee an outcast, saying, This is Zion, whom no man seeketh after.
Because they called thee an outcast. They called you a nigga. They called not a nigga, but a nigger. They said you was, you know, a spick. They said you was a dog. You was an animal. You wasn't even worth an animal. They feed their horses and their pigs better than they fed a nigga on the plantation. That you have a sore wound because you were called these things. You were considered an outcast, an exile. And they said, this is Zion? This is God's chosen people? These niggas ain't God's chosen people. You know what I mean? When we out there, we say, we God's chosen people. You have, you know, white people and fake Jews. These niggas is crazy. Like, why you got a Star of David? Like, making fun of us. Like, because that's how the world looks at us. Like, you're Zion? You're God's chosen people. Yeah, okay. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, yeah, all right. Yeah, like, you guys is on some way other stuff. Like, you guys are a hate group. You know what I mean? And the Lord is saying, I'm going to heal all of that. You know why? Because they called you an outcast. They said you wasn't worthy. They said you wasn't a human being. You an ape. You a monkey. You dark. You this. And they never knew, they never considered that we were the chosen people of God. And the Lord is going to heal us from all those wounds, and he's going to put them in their place, man. Right?
Right.
Is that it on it? You can drop that. Give me Numbers 5 and 57. Numbers 5 and 57. So the white man thinks like he's pressured because he's trying to estimate the amount of money. It's all about money, money, money. His kingdom is built on what? Capitalism, money, money, money. The white man's kingdom is like this. It's like go, 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 go. Wake up in the morning, go to work. Wake up in the morning, go to work. Wake up this morning, go to work. Go to work, go to work, 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 work. Money, money, money. Stock market, this, stock market, that, Dow Jones, all of that. The white man's kingdom is about money. So in order to, you know, when we're just talking about money, it's not going to kill him, but the real reparations would be for him not only to apologize, but to say, you know what, I'm going to give you guys everything that I've taken from you guys. I'm going to give it back, even if it makes us have to start all over again from the bottom. That would be real reparations. I gave that example of the grass. So if I hit your car, we get in a fender bender, real reparations would be for me to restore it, give you all the money it's gonna take to fix it. You know what I mean? And you know, that'll be it. But this is what the Lord is saying. So give me that. We're thinking we're thinking like we give what we done. So I okay, my son stole your son basketball. I'm gonna buy you a new basketball. Boom, it's over with. So we're gonna see what the Lord said about, you know what I mean, restoring something right here in this scripture.
You said 5:27, sir?
Numbers 5 and 5, Salakia, not 27. I'm sorry.
The book of Numbers, chapter 5, verse 5. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, when a man or a woman shall commit any sin that man commit, to do a trespass against the Lord, and the person be guilty, then they shall confess their sin which they have done.
They shall what?
They shall confess their sin which they have done.
So if you trespass against somebody, you should confess your sin, what you did to them. Keep going.
And he shall recompense his trespass with the principal thereof.
And he shall recompense, meaning repay his trespass, pay for his trespass. Now it's not even saying that it's you know, it was like money. It's just saying it was a trespass and he's paying for it. He's recompensing it. Keep going.
Come. And add unto it the fifth part thereof.
And add unto it the fifth part thereof. Add like 5% to it. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to the white man giving us back what he done did to the native Indians, to us, to the Mexican brothers, he got to give back what he done did. He done destroy, he done took, and add some extra on it. Put a little extra on it. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna put a little more on it. Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's what you owe me? Put a little more on it. You know what I mean? That's how it go down. Go ahead. Interest. Give me the interest. Get that brother a hand. Give me the interest. You know what I'm saying? Put a little more on it. You know what I mean? With interest. What verse you on? That was 7?
I'm on 7.
That was 7. Okay, you can drop that. Give me who had Ezekiel 35 and 5? All right. Here you go.
Ezekiel chapter 35 and verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel.
So the so-called white man has had a perpetual hatred. A lot of black people think that we live in a post-racial society where we've got past race issues, and that any racial issue you see is just a isolated incident. So you see a Karen going off, calling somebody a nigga for standing in the line or some weird, you know how Karen is. Karen get mad at everything. But they'll say that's an isolated incident, like, oh, you know, Martin Luther King, he cured all of that. Like, you know, that's why they use Martin Luther King, his speech. Like I said before, at the end, he wasn't saying I have a dream no more. He's saying the dream is a nightmare. They don't use that soundbite. The white man sticks with the I have a dream that one day little black boys and white girls, they stick with that one. You know what I mean? And he changed his mind towards the end. He said, I feel like I done integrated my people into a burning house. You know what I mean? So he realized toward the end that it probably wasn't the best thing to do. But like, you know what I mean? They like to stick with that, you know, we like to think that we're past race, right? The Bible says that the white man has had a perpetual hatred. Perpetual means it's a never ending. It's forever. I don't care if Jake and Jenny smile at your jokes, laugh with you at work, it's forever. You need to remember in the back of your mind that is the devil that the Bible speaks of. You know what I mean? Don't get too comfortable. Don't, you know, be trying to like, you know, you go to work with them. Don't be trying to like, oh yeah, y'all going to the bar after work? No, none of that. You know what I'm saying? Stick to your people. You want to go hang out with your brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? Hang out with your people. You know what I mean? Just remember they have had a perpetual hatred and they have shed the blood of the children of Israel. And that's why today they are not our brother. You know what I mean? And that's why today it's such a problem with giving reparations, because of to the extent that they have shed our blood, they would literally have to give everything that they have taken. They would have to go bare naked. And what I mean by that is they have to give all of their resources straight, handed over straight to us, and for it to just be half of a clean slate. Then you have to worry about what the Lord want to do with you. If he want to come chop some heads off, he want to throw some people in prison, he want to put some people out in the field to pick cotton. That's just their judgment, man. That's just what's going to happen to them. You know what I mean? This is not hate speech. This is out of the Bible. These are not our words when we talk this. Like, people think we be on the streets just yelling and hollering like we hate white people. That's just part of it. We charge our people too. We charge Black and Hispanic people to start to see and start to realize what's happening to them and start to ask questions and consider. That's how every brother is in here. From this brother to that brother to that brother to that sister. That's how we're in here, because at one point in time we started considering why are Black people in the condition they are in, right? Am I right or wrong? Am I saying something don't nobody know? We all started to consider Black people like, damn, you know what? This sounds better than what I've heard in the Christian church my whole damn life. I've never heard Jesus Christ was Black. I've never heard that in my whole life until I heard it in the Isupk. Go ahead, Sawab.
Is it wrong to hate an individual or individuals that commit crimes against you?
You said, is it wrong to hate?
It's wrong to hate, yeah, any individual or
like
that commit crimes against you, against the Lord.
Like any individual, as in Israelites, or just anybody?
Like how the white man, a so-called white man, committed crimes against our people. Is it wrong for us to hate them?
No, it ain't wrong. No, it's not wrong. Hate is the emotion. The Lord give you hate. Somebody give me that with King David. How King David hate them with a perfect hatred. It's
for the people because our people act like it's wrong for us to have a hatred towards the white man, but because they committed these crimes against us.
Yeah.
So why not? Why is it? You know what I'm saying? Like you gonna be happy about it?
Yeah, you're gonna be happy. Like it's like saying like I was bringing the example of like somebody kill your son. What, you not supposed to hate him? You know, like them Christians, like, you know, when the Dylan Roof, he went in that church and he killed those people.
Yes, sir.
I think it was like literally like the same day, one of the family members was saying they forgive him. And I'm like, the bodies ain't even cold yet. Man. And that's Christianity though. Yeah, Christianity is like, I'm gonna be the bigger person. I'm gonna show I'm the bigger person. So I'm gonna forgive so people see the God in me. Like, no, like, nigga, I don't forgive you. Like, I hate you. Go ahead, sis.
So, Esau, is he gonna be in captivity in the kingdom, or is he just gonna be cut off from the kingdom?
He's gonna be in captivity. He's gonna be in captivity for 1,000 years, and then he's gonna be cut off forever, right? We're gonna get to that. We're basically, what I'm going to get to, I'm going to end with Revelations 13:9, but we got about 2 more scriptures. Then I'm going to end with Revelations 13:9 about, leading into captivity, going into captivity. That was it on it. So what? Well, that was Ezekiel 35:5. Or did you have anything? No, I think you read it all. That was it though, right? He has had a perpetual hatred and has shed the blood of the children of Israel.
A little bit more by the force of the sword.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
By the force of the sword, so like I shed the blood of Israel, of the children of Israel, by the force of the sword, in the time of their calamity.
In the time of their calamity. So the force of the sword, at one time the sword was the way of killing. Today the sword is the modern day gun. That's the way of killing. So in ancient times, everybody would have had a little dagger or a sword. You know what I mean? That would have been the weapon of choice, right? And today a gun is the weapon of choice. But however you want to look at it, in that time or even this time, he has killed us. You know what I mean? He has put us to death for nothing, right? Not to that.
So I guess, are you still on the precept of King David?
Yeah, give me that.
Oh, God. The book of Psalms, chapter 139, verse 21. Do not I hate them, O Lord, that hate thee, and am not I grieved with those that rise up against thee.
Right. So King David said, don't I hate them that hate you?
That's right.
And we know the white man hates the Lord.
That's right.
The white man say that 2 men can get married. He say that now your little babies can decide what they are. Your little girl can say I'm a boy, or your boy can say I'm a woman. Everything he does is against God.
That's right.
He hates God, and he hates you to even bring up God. But yet it's saying God we trust on the money, and yet they say it's a Christian nation, right? And yet when this president gets sworn in, he put his hand on the Bible, right? The judges, don't they put their hand on the Bible too? Don't all public officials have to like do an oath with one hand on the Bible? If they're white, you know, but I know what the other one, the one that is the vice president, Kamala Harris, she didn't do that, right? Because she like a different religion or something. But for the most part, the so-called white man is supposed to have Christian values and, you know, go to church on Sunday and be a family man and all that. And at the same time, you know, own slaves and, you know, rape black women and, you know, shoot black men in the back and, you know, think that God is with him. But really, we can see that he's against God. He does not. He hates God. At least the God that we know in the Bible. That white Cesar Borgia, like you can be half a homosexual and, you know, wear, you know, now later colored shoes and you know, Easter bunny suits and all of that. But when it comes to the God in this Bible, he's a man of war, and he's against, you know, a man being. He's against, like, it's just not one thing. It's one thing to be homosexual. He's against a man just being soft and tender. He said effeminates won't even enter the kingdom of heaven. An effeminate he's not a gay man. It's just a man that is soft and tender. He tends to have tendencies like a woman. He's not gay. He's soft. He's not hardcore enough, right? That type of man won't even. And that the Christian church is filled with brothers like that. That type of man won't even enter the kingdom of heaven. The Lord requires you to be a man, right? What is that? Job 30:9. Grab yourself by your loins. Ask me if I'm wrong. He say the Lord is telling you to grab your nuts, nigga, and I require you to be a man. You know what I mean? Stop whining, stop complaining, you know, stop pouting, stop crying, and suck it up. You know what I mean? So that was it. That was King David. So King David says that he hates. So a lot of Christians say God don't hate. Yeah. But we know what Romans 9:13. Jacob I have loved, Esau I have hated. So you can always, that's a precept. You can cut anybody, this one and that one, to show that hate is in the Bible. Also, what is it? Ecclesiastes, I don't know, it was like 3 or something, 3 and 1 or something. Somewhere it says there's a time to love, there's a time to hate. Right? Ecclesiastes 3 and 1 through 8. 3 and 1 right. Through 8. 3, 1 so you have those is 3 different precepts where you can show people that hate is in the Bible, that God hates, that King David hated, and King David is considered the beloved of the Most High, right? And King David was a killer. That's right. King David put niggas to death. King David killed so many people that the Lord said, you know what? You have so much blood on your hand. You're not going to build my temple. I'm going to have your son build my temple, right? But the Lord loved King David. Go ahead,
So like I said, I was going to say also, it's on verse 22 also, Psalm 139.
Also on verse 32, on the same one we're on?
Yeah, the one that the actual words you were looking for were on verse 22.
Okay, keep going, keep reading.
Okay, go ahead. The book of Psalms, chapter 139, verse 22. I hate them with perfect hatred. I count them my enemies. So that's the mindset you could have, Sawab. I hate them with a perfect hatred. I count them my enemies. On the flip side, don't go to work and slap an Edomite across the head. Right. You know, just, you know what I mean? All of the things you want to do, keep it inside, be professional, and just, you know, just know, like, man, I can't stand you. You know what I mean? But I'm doing this because I'm professional. I gotta get my pay. I gotta get the bag. I gotta, you know, got my bill or whatever I gotta pay. So I'm here to do a service. And it's just like, you're my enemy, but I'm not working for you. We're doing business together. You need a service. I'm providing the service. You pay me. I go home. I don't come and hang out with y'all. A lot of times when we say the white man is the devil, people say, wow, why do you work for him?
You know what I'm saying? So you telling me that Arabs and the white man like each other? Or the so-called the Asians, they like the white man? They don't. But you don't have to be friends to do business. You don't have to be friends to make money. That's what a lot of people don't understand, is that Arabs, we know the white man don't like Arabs because of what happened in 9/11, but he allowed them to set up stores because they paying that rent. They got 99-cent stores and all kind of stores. Them East Indians, they got all their convenience stores. The Asians, they got Chinatowns and, you know, swap meets and all of that. They don't like mix with the white man, but they do business with them. And then you look at them as a nation, they don't get along. These nations don't get along with the white man. Where the Arabs come from, they enemies with the white, with America. Where the Asians come from, they enemies. But that don't stop them from doing business. You pick up something made in China. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. So it's the same thing when we go to work with them. We're being professional. We don't have to like their ways. We don't have to like their jokes. We don't have to like nothing. We just do enough to get along and be professional and go home and, you know what I mean, do our thing. So is that it only?
Come on.
Right. So where we at? Ezekiel. Did I ask for Ezekiel 33 and 15? So Ezekiel 33 and 15. And then somebody else grab 2 Thessalonians 1 and 6. So yeah, I do want reparations. I do want it. I wouldn't mind getting a check, but I know in the big scheme of things, that's not going to help black people. Like I said, niggas will be, you know, buying Jordans, and you see that thing that just came out with the vice president of Nike just resigned because they linked her to her son. Her son is a reseller. Because I don't know if y'all know about tennis shoes or whatever. Like, it's a big culture right now with reselling shoes. So say they come out with a shoe, you as a regular person that got the money, you can't get it because the resellers have the hookup with all the companies, and they buy a big lot and they resell it like on eBay or OfferUp. They resell it at a higher price. So it ain't like old days, like you want a pair of shoes, you can walk in the Foot Locker and you're guaranteed to get it if you got the money. So they linked this Nike vice president to, she like leaking shoes out to her son, and he's like a big name in the industry of reselling, right? The point I'm making is that, you know, all of this stuff is, you know, that people love, and they, you know, they trying to get is fashion after a black man. In this case, Michael Jordan, you know what I mean? A black man that's jumping up high in the sky that made a whole culture where people want these damn shoes. But that just goes to show you that in the big picture, like the Lord said, we the salt of the earth. But do you imagine if we could take all, like if a black company could create the same thing and it's just all black and it just benefits black people, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, Nike don't really benefit black people, but they've grown their business off the backs of black athletes. That's right. You know what I mean? Right. Really had nothing to do with the topic, but I just wanted to bring that out. But how I got on it is that, you know, brothers that get that money, get that, I was going to say stimulus, you get that reparation money and you'll spend it on some stuff that you don't even need, right? We'll just be spending. You'll see people on, like, you know, spinning rims on their cars, spinning chains. I don't know, you know, we'll spend on a lot of stuff we don't need, but it really won't fix us unless you got brothers and sisters that come together, put that money together, get some land, you know, get some homes built, get some things like that going on that can really benefit us, you know what I mean? But us personally, being separate how we are in America, nigga gonna get him, you know, buy him a chain, go buy his girl some of them designer bags, and, you know, gonna be broke in 2 weeks. You was gonna say something, Sawab?
Yeah, like they saying that it don't fix the problem, you know what I'm saying? It'd be like paying us into our own death, like giving an alcoholic $1 million. You gonna drink yourself to death. Yeah, and we'll be giving the money right back to the white man. You know what I'm saying? Jeff Bezos and, you know, all these other CEOs that own these big companies, they be getting rich
off of black people. You see, you know, well, the beauty supply, all of that, all of them places that we go to, what is it, beauty supply, whoever got all the blunts, the purple blunts and the yellow blunts and all, they finna get rich. You know what I mean? It'd be just like a free for all. They'd be glad to see black people coming to their store. Like, I know they got I keep saying stimulus, but I know they got the reparation checks. I know he finna spend. He finna get a big bottle of Hennessy. You know what I mean? They'd be happy to see you come in their store. They'd be happy to let you hang out in front of the store. You know what I mean? Because money gonna be flowing, right? We're gonna give it right back to the people that drain it and take it right out of our community, and they give it to their people, right? So give me Ezekiel 33 and 15.
Ezekiel chapter 33 and verse 15. If the wicked restoreth the pledge, give again that he had robbed.
If the wicked restore the pledge, give again what he have robbed. Give this land back to the Native American Indians, right? Give black people all the money that they deserve for all of the hardships of being here in slavery and picking cotton and getting killed and getting murdered. Give it all back. Keep reading.
Walk in the statutes of life.
Walk in the statutes of life. What's the statutes of life? Go ahead, sir.
What's that?
Law, statutes, and commandments. Go ahead.
Without committing iniquity.
Without committing iniquity, without sinning, without doing anything that's transgression against the laws of God. Keep reading.
He shall surely live.
He shall surely what?
Live.
He shall surely live. If the so-called white man gave back everything that he has stolen, gave back, Texas, Texas, Arizona, California, back to the Mexicans, gave back the other parts of the land, back to the Native Indians, paid the black people for all the, the money he has made, right? Because they say that America became a world superpower off the cotton that was picked by the natives. So America became very rich off the cotton, right? If he gave all that money and all of that, capital back to black people, and then he was righteous, the Lord said that he wouldn't die. He'll surely live. But how many people in here think the white man got it in him to do that? Raise your hand. Exactly. He can't do that. He's not going to do that. Like I said, he's too prideful.
That's right.
He don't want to be seen. He doesn't want to be shamed. That would be like admitting your guilt. That would be like saying, okay, I'm a guilty, wicked bastard before the whole world, because the whole world is looking at America as the symbol of freedom, the symbol of, whatever you want to say, like you want a new life, you want to prosper, get to America. The whole world looks at America like that. And for them to admit, like, yes, we are wicked, evil bastards for what we did, it's too shameful for him to do. And then for him to say, okay, no more prostitution, no more, this transgender, no more of this. We're going strictly by the laws of God. He's not going to do that because he hates God, right? So he's not going to live. He's going to die, right? When the Lord returns. Go ahead, Sawat.
They always have excuses every time they commit a crime, like when they shoot us in the streets, you know what I'm saying? Then they come back with mental illness.
Oh yeah.
They make themselves look good and they good. You know what I'm saying?
Like the white boy that, remember when they was having a protest in George Floyd, the white boy that he had like an AR-15,
man,
and somebody tried to tackle him. He shot one of them in the head and shot another one in the arm. Like Rittenhouse, like Kyle Rittenhouse, right? His name's like Kyle Rittenhouse, right? They came out and said, well, he didn't have a father. I said, get up there. God, I said, Black and Hispanic people grow up with fathers everywhere. They ain't going nowhere shooting up nothing. No, it was Kyle. It was him, that Kyle. But I'm talking about the Kyle, mixing the two Kyles up. It's two Kyles. I'm talking about the Kyle that went into the Walmart. What was that Walmart shooting like about a year or 2 years ago? It was a Walmart shooting. Where was it at? Where the dude shot up some people in Walmart. They even said about him not having a father. They used that. They tried to use that, and I'm like, Black and Hispanic people don't have we grow up without a father all the time. You don't see us going in Walmart, shooting up Walmart. You know what I'm saying? I understand we do crime. We might shoot at each other, but just to do a mass shooting and just shoot random people because you don't got a father, like that's not us. So they always try to find a way to explain when he came from a broken home. Like we come from broken homes. We're not running up in Target and Walmart shooting it up. You know what I mean? Like so, but when it's us, you know, they want to bring out when it's an innocent black man or boy or woman, they want to go back to when he was in elementary. He got suspended this many times. They caught him smoking weed. They try to just create this narrative that we are natural born criminals, when in fact it's the total opposite. They are natural born criminals. The thing is about it is they're on top, so they can get away with all of their criminal acts. We can't get away. When we do something, we get judged. If we do a crime, we going to jail. I don't care if you got away with it once or maybe twice. You're going to get caught because at the end of the day, you're not really running from the law. You're running from the Most High, and the Most High is the one that judges us. So we get dealt with. It's the same way of like with the dietary thing. We get jammed up when we eating all of these unclean foods. Yeah. Those people don't get jammed up. You see them videos where them Asians be eating all kind of stuff from out of the sea. They eat anything out of all unclean food out of the sea. You never hear about Asians getting jammed up because of what they eating. Like we get jammed up for eating pork. We have high blood pressure, heart disease. We don't live full lives because of what we eat. You know what I mean? Like we get jammed up for smoking dope. White man can snort dope, run a Fortune 500 company, and nothing happened to him. He good, but when you do it, you get messed up. You get jammed up. You get caught up. You know what I mean? Because the Lord is judging you. They ain't got the same penalties that we got. We got different penalties when we do this, do those type of things, right? So give me 2 Thessalonians 1:6, and then the last precept. Somebody grab Revelation 13:9.
2 Thessalonians. Everybody here? 2 Thessalonians chapter 1, verse 6. Saying it is a righteous thing with the Most High to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you.
To recompense. Recompense means to repay. To recompense tribulation. The Lord said it's a righteous thing. It's a righteous thing to recompense tribulation, right? Real reparations is like a payback, not getting paid from the so-called white man, but for him to get paid by the Most High, to get repayment for everything he has done to us. That's righteous in the sight of the Lord. For all the tribulations he done put our people through, he needs to get the big payback, right? He needs to get a recompense. It's one thing for us to get, like I said, it'd be nice to get it, but more importantly, what I want to see is the white man get paid back for all the crimes he had committed against our people, right? So read it from the top one more time.
2 Thessalonians chapter 1, verse 6, saying it is a righteous thing with the Most High to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you.
To them that trouble you. And remember, we're talking about the so-called white man. In Christianity, they sitting there looking at the people that done did them wrong. You know what I mean? Thinking it's talking about, you know, your personal problems with somebody else. It's bigger than, like, right here, this is bigger than the personal problems. This is talking about another nation. This is talking about a so-called white man. This put our people to trials and tribulations. They like to say trials and tribulations in the Christian church. The slavery trial and a tribulation.
That's right.
Jim Crow was a trial and a tribulation, right?
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Lynching, hanging, raping our women was a trial and tribulation. Our sons are being snatched up and murdered, like Emmett Till was a trial and tribulation. You know what I mean? I can go on and on. Trayvon Martin, Eric Gardner, Ezell Ford, you know what I'm saying? John Crawford, Sandra Bland, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, trials and tribulations. It's a righteous thing to repay the so-called white man for all the trials and tribulations he has put us through, right? Is that it? Drop that. Let's get Revelations 13:9. We'll end with this.
God. The book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear.
The Bible says, if any man have an ear, let him hear. It's not talking about no physical ears, right? Go ahead,
Verse 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. The so-called white man led black people into captivity. He led Native Indians into captivity. He led our Mexican brothers into captivity. The so-called white man made, 300 treaties with the so-called Native American Indians and broke every one of them. He lied to them. He spoke smooth things to them. He told them what they wanted to hear, but when it was time to pay up, he was ready to fight them and kill them to move them off the land, man. He led us into captivity. He put us in chains, right? He had our women, in chains. He had our babies in chains. He had our when we was out there picking cotton, it would be not only the man, it would be the woman and the baby out there picking cotton with a little bag to put cotton in, man. He led our people into captivity, into slavery, into subjection, meaning up under him, right? He conquered our people and put them in subjection. Then after he brought us that low, he started to kill us after we got out of slavery. He started to humiliate us. He started to say we're less than dogs. We're less than animals. He did these things. Read it from the top again.
The book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
Now just look around. Look at the brothers. Look at the brothers, and just imagine your brother being chained up. Imagine when your brother's being drugged out in a rope put around his neck, and they hang him in front of you. Imagine your sister. Look, you see your sister right here. Imagine them snatching her up, and all you can hear her is doing is screaming inside of a building. You have to understand that you are your ancestors, right? We are our ancestors, and so you have to put yourself there, to feel. It's been so long and we don't grow up knowing our history. We don't learn our history. White man doesn't teach us our history. So when we start to learn our history, you got to put yourself there. You have to put it in your chest so you can feel it, man. You can feel it, and you can feel compassion for your people, man. You can feel like Ezekiel felt. You can feel how Jeremiah felt when he seen the destruction of his people. You can feel how Christ felt when he wept for the destruction of his people, and how the Romans was doing his people, and how they so messed up and so fucked up. You know what I mean? You gotta feel that in your chest, man. You gotta put that in your chest so you can remember and never forget. You know what I mean? We in the Isupk, we'll never forget. You know what I mean? We'll keep this same energy until the sun burn out. You know what I mean? To get recompense for what is happening to us. He led us into captivity. Keep reading.
Okay. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
And he killed us with the sword. He put us to death. He put us to death for allegedly looking at a white woman. He put us to death for he might have had a gun. He put us to death because he can put us to death, because he could put us to death. So he led us into captivity and he killed us in all different ways. He put us to death in so many different ways. Like I said, we'll probably never know. We'll never know, but the Lord knows. The Lord see, the angels see everything, man. They seen all the wicked acts of the white man that's done in secret. And when a black man named Jesus Christ returns, all of that will be revealed, and the white man will be brought down to his knees. So it's a beautiful thing. It's a good thing to get reparations, but what we really want to see is the white man get repaid for all the crimes and criminal and evil and traumatic acts he have committed against blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. And with that, I'm gonna pass the class to Priest and Officer Shaw.
Men of Israel, my turn. At this time, we're going to get a teacher, face teacher. We're going to get a teacher courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Madu Shabbat. Amaja. Barak.
Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shabrakatah.
Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shabrakatah.
Right. Men of Israel. That's the sister to stand. Let's face the sister. Give the sister a salute. Men of Israel. Amaja. Amaja Shabbat. Amaja. Barak.
Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai.
Yahi Matat. Dismissed.